Good afternoon. So I still got Lincoln on in the background. I guess he's doing his little after show. Um, Hopefully this thing is working right.
Emanuel Livingston can come back to work today.
Hopefully this thing. Oh my goodness, he's saying I could come back to work today.
He can come back today. I think they left the door open.
Oh boy, this Lincoln Ware.
Hey,
I'm pretty sure I couldn't come back today.
Emanuel has a chance to come back if he gets the vaccine.
That Lincoln Ware.
Your birthday, Donnie says.
So I'm listening. I'm watching Lincoln Ware do his thing while I'm preparing to do mine, and it's always funny to me when
Ozark's coming back. That's good.
It's always funny.
E-Man should have gotten the shot. He should have.
No, he shouldn't have. No, he shouldn't have.
Let's see what else. Yeah.
All right. So that's the Lincoln Ware show. Just went off. Yes, I still watch Lincoln Ware. I think he does an amazing show. And yeah, I watch it. Yes, I still listen to the buzz. I ain't mad at nobody over there. And I'm glad that Terrence Howard is back. Actually, I talked to him for a little bit yesterday, and it's all good. They didn't fire me to bring him in, but I do like to play stuff like that up just for fun, because me and Terrence will get a really good laugh at something like that. But come on in, everybody. Welcome to the show. Hopefully everything looks right, sounds right. Welcome to the show. I was watching the confirmation hearing, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. I was watching the confirmation hearing, and your good friend Lindsey Graham threw a hissy. He threw a hissy. Look. I don't know if you watched any of the confirmation hearing, and they are uneventful. I love the way she's answering the questions by kind of not answering the questions. She's doing what she's supposed to do. She's doing her kind of judge lawyer thing. That's what she's supposed to do. They have questions, and she's supposed to not answer them. But hold on, let me get some people in. Let me get some people in just to say, hey, what's up, Maria? Cinnamon Fist, Tria, Michelle, Breenie. Let's see. Tria says Lincoln looked like he was about to pass out today. I don't know what that means. Good afternoon, Crystal. Who is this? Brandy. Good afternoon. I don't remember seeing your face or a comment from you. So welcome if this is your first time. And if this is not your first time, I'm sorry I've overlooked you this whole time. Carl, good afternoon. Daryl, good afternoon. It's the afternoon experiment. Come on in, everybody. Say hi to me. Just shout me out when you come in. Say hi. And then you can just sit back. Well, you could not say hi, but I think you should. Sean, good afternoon. Kay, good afternoon. I'm sorry, Kathy K. Annette, good afternoon. Tria says Graham is, he is. I really want to talk about Lindsey Graham in just a minute. Keisha, good afternoon. Daryl, so she's going to be the female version of Clarence Thomas. I'm not feeling her. We got to discuss that. Jeffrey, good afternoon. Let's see. Sean says, I like the new setup. All right. Let's see. Phyllis, good afternoon. Phyllis, good afternoon. Jerica or Jerika. Hola, Jerika. Raz, good afternoon. Hold on, let's see. Tanya, good afternoon. Beth, I know it's gonna be like 5 minutes of just good afternoon. TC, good afternoon. Tanya says, glad you're back on. I was on the day after. The day after I left that Monday, I was on right here. But I'm glad that you're glad that I'm here. Sierra from Boston. All right. Sierra from Boston, drinking lager, I guess. Nat, good afternoon. Carolyn, all right. Terry, Maurice, the one with all those letters, ZIYT2431. I just call you Z. Zakia, hey, what's up, Zakia? Dana, Iyana. I hope I said it right. Paul, Mike, R. Allen, Miss Lucky Charm. I don't see y'all all up in here. Rick. All right, I gotta cut this off, otherwise I'll just be going. Dee Dee. Who is this? Samuel. All right, I gotta stop. But Ben, he says, good afternoon. Hope you won't call me stupid today. Good afternoon, Ben. I hope you won't say anything that forces me to call you stupid today. We on the same page. What they used to say, don't start none, won't be none. So if you don't say anything stupid, I guarantee I won't call you stupid. I think we can all agree that that's a good position to start from. So good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. All right. Now, of course, I'm watching the confirmation hearings, and I'm watching Lindsey Graham. And let me say this. Republicans, for any Republicans watching, I know there's one or two that watch. For any Republicans watching, will y'all change y'all stance on homosexuality? Will y'all consider changing y'all stance on homosexuality? And just look. Some people, when they're not allowed to be who they are, they act out. So if y'all change y'all stance on homosexuality, maybe some of those people in y'all party who are like in the closet and they don't hide it very well. So because they can't hide it very well, they have to overdo it. Maybe if y'all change y'all stance, some of the people in y'all party will be more reasonable. Just a bit of advice. Just a little bit of advice. And on a totally unrelated note, boy, that Lindsey Graham was acting out today. I'm gonna tell y'all, I like to, because somebody said that they believe that Ketanji's going to be another Clarence Thomas. I don't believe that. I don't hear anything that makes me believe that. What I hear is a judge being safe. I hear a judge being safe. I hear her not answering questions that she shouldn't answer. She's not supposed to answer some of those questions. And in particular, what Lindsey Graham was asking her about towards the end of his little hissy fit, because he wasn't even asking her questions for an answer. For a lot of them, this is just their opportunity to grandstand. That's it. They got the spotlight on them for 30 minutes, and they're going to take that opportunity and just grandstand. That's what they're going to do. And that's what Lindsey Graham did. And at the end, when he's asking her about, I can't remember the young lady from South Carolina, the judge from South Carolina that Clyburn was pushing, and how there are people who are attempting to do this to her and attempting to do that to her. He didn't even want an answer. He just wanted to throw stuff out. And then he and Durbin got into this little thing, and he straight threw a hissy fit and then got up and stormed out the room. And I'm like, let that man be himself. Just let that man be himself, and maybe he'll calm down. If he just get to live his truth, if he get to, you know, love who he loves. You know what I'm saying? Openly. Let that man love who he loves openly. They just shouldn't have to hide it. Because then we all pay. Then we all pay. Glenn says, you see a judge doing what you advise people to do to stay on the jury instead of disqualify yourself. Exactly. That's exactly what she did. She was speaking to, I can't remember his name. I hate that I don't remember these guys' names. I can see him, you know, in my mind, but I can't remember his name. But when he was talking to her, and he was talking about gay marriage. They want to make gay marriage a thing. You know what I'm saying? A big issue. Some of them. They want to make gay marriage a big issue. And she wasn't with it. She wasn't going with it. She wasn't, he kept saying, but you can see white people would be, and she kept saying, look, some of this stuff is still before the court, and I can't speak on it. I'm sorry, but I understand that is your position. I'm like, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. But I did want to talk a little bit about what he was talking about. He was suggesting, and if I fall, don't laugh at me. But I'm sitting on some. I got my chair, but when I just sit on the chair, like the height of my head is here, so there's all of this space open. So I had to put some books on the chair because this is as high as the chair will go. So I'm wobbly on the book. So if I just fall over, I ain't been drinking or nothing like that. And don't laugh. Don't laugh. That it is decreed. It is decreed. Thou shalt not laugh if thy king falleth. Okay? Just so we clear. So the suggestion was, since gay men, yes, I'm sitting on books. Yes, I am. Here, I'll show y'all. Huh. So, this is on the chair without the books. This is the chair without the books. See? Stack of books. Stack of books. You want to know what? How to Kill a City, The Color of Law, The Iliad and the Odyssey, and From Slavery to Freedom. Stack of books. So this is me sitting without the books. See all that space above my head? I can't have that be all right. No, it's not okay without the books. No. So I got to put the books here. And then sit on the books. And see how much better that looks? Positioning and all of that kind of stuff. So, yes, I had to sit on the books. But if I fall, it is decreed. Thou shalt not laugh if thy king falleth. All right? So say whatever y'all want to say. Yeah, say whatever y'all want to say. But don't laugh. Don't laugh. There will be consequences. But anyway, so what he was saying was, because there is the gay marriage laws, that somehow if you have a religious belief, and your religious belief believes that marriage is between a man and a woman, marriage is, if that's your religious belief, then the Supreme Court decision that made it unconstitutional to deny rights to gay people is somehow an affront to your religion, and it's somehow puts you in a position where you no longer have freedom of religion. And he was trying to get Ketanji Brown Jackson to agree with that. He was trying to get Ketanji to agree that, yeah, that decision strips you of your freedom of religion. And I was trying to get to the point, Michelle, no, Michelle, it's decreed. Come on. Don't make me. All right. But yeah, he was trying to get her to the point where she was gonna agree that the Supreme Court had somehow taken away his freedom of religion. Is that how people actually feel? Do people actually feel like because someone else has a right to do something that you don't agree with, it's not forcing you to do it? It's not forcing you, because if they were forcing you, Senator, to marry a man, then I could see you saying, hey, this is against my religion. They're not forcing you to marry nobody. They're not forcing you to perform a marriage. Somebody said I'm breaking up on both Facebook and on YouTube. I'm freezing up every other word. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me fix that. I don't like freezing up. That's not how I get down. Hold on. Let me see. Do I have anything here open that I don't need? I might have one or two things open that I don't need open. Let's close that. Close that. We'll close that. Everybody's saying that it's breaking up on their end. Hold on. What might be breaking it up? This might be doing it. Hold on. All right. Because I was watching, I was maybe using too many resources. All right, how is it now? Somebody said I'm blurry too. What the heck? And my picture is fuzzy. All right, how was it? I made some changes. Tell me. Jerica says a lot better. All right. If I get a few thumbs up, then I know I'm good to go. Let's see. Go ahead. What were you watching? Oh, I was watching the hearings. I was watching the confirmation hearings. And I was watching it on my computer as well. So, yeah. It's the elevation from the stack of books causing the altitude interference. Whatever. Let's see. You still got a lot of static in the background. I'm not sure what that means. Let's see. He really doesn't understand the separation between church and state, or he was trying to trip her up. At least your lips are red. Yeah, that was a bad day. The red lips day. Okay, so I'm getting some yeses. So I'm good now. Okay, so yeah, I had that extra stuff running. I don't know what y'all missed and what y'all didn't, but I'll continue where I was. The suggestion, because the Supreme Court said that it was okay for gay people to be married, is a violation of your freedom of religion, was what he was trying to suggest. And of course, I disagree with that. Miss Lucky Charm says the picture is still blurry. It does not look blurry whatsoever on my end. hold on, let me see. I can go, it's acting right today. It's actually gonna let me go and look at it. The picture is blurry, but that's not me. That's I don't know. I think that's a speed thing. I'm broadcasting the way I'm supposed to. So that's not my thing. Hopefully it'll catch up in a moment and it'll be fine. Hopefully it'll catch up in a moment and it'll be fine. So but there's nothing I can do about that. On my end, I'm broadcasting just fine. Hold on, I'm gonna reload this and see if I cut off, I'll be right back. Okay. So I should still be here. It says I'm still live. And everything should be okay. These technical difficulties. All right, now I'm getting some thumbs up. All right, now looks good, much better. Okay, so I guess I just had to refresh. All right, well, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so I've lost my train of thought totally. Totally lost my train of thought. But the bottom line is, I don't see anything alarming about what she's saying. She is playing it safe. She is doing, a lot of y'all can take lessons from her. See how she's not, in a lot of these occasions, she's not actually answering these questions. She's acknowledging that there was a question. She's acknowledging that she understands the question. And she's acknowledging that some people might be concerned. That's the way you're supposed to, if you got to answer those type of questions. If you're ever in a situation like that, we gotta, we as citizens, not we as Black people or anything like that, we got to get to the point where we understand we are not obligated to answer what we're not obligated to answer. And of course, I'm taking it to another level because most of us will never be in a confirmation hearing to be approved to the Supreme Court. But what I'm trying to, the idea that you have to be like super forthcoming about things and answer every question as thoroughly as you possibly can. No, that's not the case. When you're dealing with police, when you're dealing with people on your job, when you're dealing with just people out and about, when you're dealing with just people out and about, that is not the way that you need to operate. You kind of need to operate the way she is operating. Hold on now, somebody said something about my resolution is off again. Your resolution seems to be at 380 instead of 720 or 1080. It's definitely, hold on, why was that on? It's definitely the way it's supposed to be. And I'm sorry if it isn't acting right. I don't know what to do at this point. She isn't feeding the trolls. Exactly. And I'm telling you, you can do the same thing. You can do that when you deal with law enforcement. It's not inappropriate. You can do that at your job. It's not inappropriate. Sometimes oversharing is a problem. I remember when I was a shop steward and people would file grievances. My thing to the people filing grievances was simple. Just say they violated your, I'm gonna say rights, but that's not the terminology. But they violated the contract and they violated this section. You don't have to write out, people would write out like whole pages, front, back, be like 4 pages front and back. I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't give them an opportunity to see everything and to come up with an answer for everything. Don't do that. Don't put yourself in a position where you might misstate something, or where you might say something that could damage your case. Don't do that. Sometimes less is more. And then once we get in there in that meeting, then we'll talk about the specifics of the thing. And that's kind of the lesson that I'm learning here. That's not that I didn't already know this, but the lesson that the takeaway. She ain't gonna get bogged down. She ain't gonna get him no reason to say no. I love it. I love it. Anthony says, exactly. I'm a shop steward also. Yeah, man. When people come to you with like 4 pages and you read through it, like, I would read through them before I turn them in. And I would be like, you saying right here. Because, sometimes, and I'm guilty of this as well, because I'm one of those honest people, like honest to a fault. So if, at the job, what happened here? And I'm one of those, well, look, I'll admit, I was running late and blah, 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 blah. And I'll admit that I wasn't paying as close attention as I should have been paying to so-and-so. But you don't have to do that. And especially if you're, filing a grievance or you're dealing with law enforcement, because, they don't always tell you, they don't always Mirandize you. And when you're dealing with police and you start admitting stuff, don't think, well, you didn't read me my rights. No, they don't have to. If you just start having excited utterances and saying that you did stuff or that you were places, all of that is now so-called on the record. All of that is kind of on the record. Well, you know why I pulled you over? That's one of the easiest ones. You know why I pulled you over? I was speeding. You just admit it. You just admit it to a crime. Well, not a crime, but a violation. Don't answer that question. Don't answer that question. You know why I pulled you over? If you got to say anything, I'm aware that you pulled me over. Don't answer questions. If anything, answer a question. What they tell you, answer a question with a question. Do you know why I pulled you over? Do you know why you pulled me over? You know what I'm saying? Learn from Miss Jackson. You don't always have to answer the question. I'm loving it. It's uneventful, with the exception of, some of the Republicans throwing their hissy fits and, Lindsey Graham not being able to live his real life, so he's got to act out, stuff like that. But other than that, man, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. But yeah, just listen to Miss Jackson, pay attention to what she's doing. I mean, at some point, because I haven't had an opportunity to watch as much of it as I would like to. I'd be busy doing stuff. But so I haven't had the opportunity to watch as much of it as I would like to. So I'm sure she has answered some questions, but those are questions just that she wanted to answer. Probably just things that she wanted to get out there. And somebody asked her about her judicial philosophy. And she said, I have a methodology that I use. And they try to cut her off like, no, your judicial philosophy is, and she was like, well, my judicial philosophy is to be impartial and to rule within the bounds of the law. But I have a methodology that I use to achieve that. Like they wanted to get into the living constitution or I ain't got time to get into all of that stuff. She ain't got time to get into no specific answers on no cases. None of them really do. But I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. Other than that, that's, for the most part, that's what I've been paying attention to, and that's what I've been watching. I do still hear a lot of people having conversations about the gun law and all of that kind of stuff. And again, we know where I stand with the gun law. We know where I stand with the gun law. Do a E-Man Brown Jackson when someone asks you questions. When you are in a position where there's some issue that could arise from the wrong answer. I mean, for real, just take this through life. Just take this through life. Don't answer questions that you don't necessarily have to answer. And especially, I want to be honest. I'm reading the grievance. And it's like, well, yeah, I know I took a break, my break. I was 5 minutes late coming back from my break. Why would you put that in your grievance? What? You just admitted to violating the policy. Stop. But some people, they want it all in there. They want to be, I know what I'm doing. All right, let's go. Let's turn this in. Let's have this conversation. They're going to read it and they're going to say, in here, based on your word, I see 6 policy violations right off the top. How do you think that's going to benefit you? Police pull you over and ask you, do you know why they pulled you over? Yeah, because I was speeding. Or yeah, because I didn't use my turn signal. I didn't stop all the way for that light. I blew through that stop sign. You know what I'm saying? People actually do that. And then what? You're going to go to court? You're going to go to court to fight the ticket? They got body cams now. They work for them and they work against them. That police going to show up. I got evidence. What evidence? Here, look. I asked them why I pulled them over. They admitted to blowing through the stop sign. You can't even fight it now. Now you can't even fight it. You admit it. It's little stuff like that get us. A smooth lie can stop an arrest, but no, I'm not telling nobody to lie. Don't lie. It's not. I believe it's against the law to lie to the police. I believe that's against the law. Do not lie. Just don't say nothing. You could always invoke your Fifth Amendment right. I'm afraid that we're getting back to the point where I was talking about, like on Wednesday or whatever it was, about our rights, okay? But you don't have to lie. You can just not say anything. You can invoke that Fifth Amendment right, but in order to invoke it, you have to actually invoke it. Like, they can keep asking you questions until you say, I want to invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, okay? Just in case you didn't know that. You have to actually say it. You can't just not talk and expect, well, you're not supposed to be asking me no more questions because I'm remaining silent. No, you got to invoke your Fifth Amendment right. Okay. This guy says, tell alternative facts. No, just don't answer. People do. I know you do. You feel compelled to answer questions. You feel compelled to answer questions, especially if there's an authority figure asking you the questions. And that's how, a lot of people, where they talk about false confessions and stuff like that, that's where a lot of that stuff comes from. Because you feel compelled to answer questions. When filing a grievance, you merely state the violation of the contract and present the information later. Yeah. But a lot of people, I'm telling you, and I know Scott can tell you this as well, because I know he was a shop steward. And what Anthony's saying that he was a shop steward. But I'm telling you, when I was a shop steward, you get people who want to write a book. You get people who want to write a book. And you can't talk them out of it. You can't talk them out of it because they fired up. They are furious. And so they want to be heard on paper. Excuse me. They want to be heard on paper. And there's no turning them back. But yeah, the appropriate answer is no answer. Do you know why I pulled you over? Either ask them a question or don't answer. Don't even say no. No, I don't know why you pulled me over. Just say, I acknowledge that you did pull me over. You can acknowledge factual stuff. That would be my suggestion. That would be, what do you do? Where are you headed? Where are you headed? Why are you asking me where I'm headed? That's unimportant. I am headed somewhere. Where are you coming from? I'm coming from somewhere. Where are you coming from? I acknowledge that I was coming from somewhere, and I acknowledge that I am headed to somewhere. But from my perspective, I just say, I don't want to answer any questions. Whatever's got to happen, it's got to happen. I appreciate that you're here doing your job, but I'm going to remain silent. I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment right. It seems to work pretty good. So just a little tip. Just a little tip. It's not rude. It's not because they'll say, why are you being uncooperative? I am going to remain silent. I'm going to remain silent. I'm not going to answer any questions. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. E-man, just difficult. You probably going to jail. And Jason, there are a lot of people who actually believe that way. There are a lot of people who actually believe that way. Just remain silent. Emanuel Livingston, the truth will set you free occasionally with law enforcement, except when dealing with state patrol. Lewis, hear me. Hear me. You think the truth will set you free. And, look, if they're not going to give you a ticket, they're probably not going to give you a ticket. And the idea that I can talk myself out of trouble than got more people in trouble than gotten them out of it, okay? A lot of people has gotten into more trouble thinking that they can talk themselves out of trouble. I talk too much when I get pulled over. I couldn't stop talking. Why? Why? And I'm not saying you're wrong. I wouldn't suggest it. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just some dude who happens to be the king of talk. So I can give you suggestions with authority on talking, when to talk, where to talk, how to talk, why to talk, what to say. I'm the authority on that. But I'm asking you, just why? Why do we think that people do that? Why do we think that people talk a whole lot when they probably shouldn't? What was that? Wait a minute. Jason says, getting the police laughing always works. All right. So, Jason, you've gotten out of tickets where you rightfully deserved a ticket. And just because you made the police officer laugh. Again, I'm not challenging you. I'm not saying it's not true. I just want to make sure that I understand what you're saying. Because, if that's all right. Did you answer their questions? I'm going to send you a video. My cousin was approached by multiple officers when he was observed loading wood from his land onto his property. He refused to identify himself, and when he asked if he could leave, officers would not respond. Hold on. Come on, scroll for me. Officers would not respond. Oh, that was the whole thing. Officers would not respond. Should have kept asking. Keep asking. You know what? And I was gonna do this when I was on the radio station. I am going to set up with a lawyer to come on and have a discussion about what you should and what you should not do when dealing with law enforcement. Because there are just certain things that you should not do. There's an excellent video on YouTube about never talk to police. There's an and it's by an attorney. It's an excellent video, and his suggestion is really simple. Don't talk to police because you can only get yourself in trouble. You can't talk yourself out of trouble. You can only talk yourself into trouble or into more trouble. He's given a lecture at, I believe it's at a law school. He's given a lecture at a law school, and I believe he's former law enforcement, but I'm not 100% sure about that because it's been a while since I watched it. I've watched it a number of times, but it's been a while since I've watched it, and he just is reiterating, and he has law enforcement there in the room who are agreeing with him. Like, talking to the police sounds like a good idea, but because they're trained and they're listening for things. They're not asking you questions when they seem like they're just being friendly. Like, okay, well, how's your day been going? They don't really care about how your day been going. They just want you to get into the habit of answering questions. At least that's what some law enforcement people who I've watched them do videos on this as well. They're not asking you these questions because they care about your day. But they figure, okay, he don't want to answer about why he's here, where he's going, where he's coming from, why I pulled him over. But if I ask him, how's your day going? And he says, my day is going fine. Well, all right, now you're answering questions. And I'm becoming less threatening. So, the weather, how's the weather? Oh, I'm loving this weather. They want you to get into the habit of answering questions. Eventually they'll get back to other questions. B-Rab says, E-Man, you're going to get these people effed up. I'm trying to create a situation where they not getting effed up. Because if you go get effed up for not answering questions, you was going to get effed up anyway. Right? Jerica says cleavage works. I don't know that it does. Again, I have a few friends who are law enforcement. And in my mind, if you was going, 85 and a 55, titties ain't gonna get you stop you from getting a ticket. I done pulled you over. I got the body cam on. I mean, yeah, they have a what's the term? I see this daggone mind stuff. Discretion. They can use their discretion whether or not to give you a ticket, but I don't know. Jerica. Said titties. All right, go free. I don't know about that. This is I don't in my mind, uh you wouldn't know that it does, but I'm here to tell you my double D's have gotten me out of many tickets. I don't think they have. I don't think they have. My guess is they probably wasn't gonna give you a ticket anyway. My guess is they wasn't gonna give you a ticket anyway. They was kind of just fishing, like they was pulling you over, you know, and they were on the fence. They was because if they go, I'm gonna give this person warning. I'm gonna pull them over because I can, and maybe I can search the car. Maybe I'll stumble upon something. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull them over because I have the right to, this probable cause or whatever. I got a right to pull them over now. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull them over, but I ain't really trying to get this person a ticket. And then you sitting there, that's me trying to push titties together. I don't have titties, so I don't. Well, I've got some small ones, but you trying to what you unbuttoning buttons? What is that? Okay. Oh my goodness. Of course, they wasn't going to give her a ticket after they seen those beautiful succulent breasts. How you know her breast is beautiful and succulent? You know what I'm saying? What? Just because they big don't mean they beautiful and succulent. And I'm only saying they big because she said they double D's. What happens if the police improperly search you? Can you sue? Of course you can. Of course you can sue. Whether or not you win, that's a whole different thing. But of course you can sue. When a judge tells a young white woman she is too pretty to go to jail after molesting a child, it is possible. It is possible. It is possible. I don't care what you think. Maybe they weren't going to give me a ticket, but I rarely got them. So I guess we'll never know. Now you got everybody. Everybody wants you to put your titties on the screen. Don't put your titties on the screen. Don't do that. Don't do it. Will you win? It all depends. I guess it all depends on how good your case is. I'm not an attorney. I don't know. I don't have an answer for this. I just know. I know it's not a good idea to be talking. When you're in a position where you talking could mess something up, it's best to not talk. It's best to not talk. And, like Glenn was kind of alluding to, when you trying to get, like, if they ever, I might actually be eligible for jury duty now. I'm not an on-air personality. I'm not, in the media per se. I might be eligible to get some jury duty. I don't know how to make that happen, but yeah. Put them on the glass. Don't be showing your titties. Don't do it. Don't do it. There you go. No, we don't need to. We don't need to see any of that stuff, y'all. Y'all good. We don't need to see any of these books are becoming uncomfortable. they're uncomfortable. Oh. These books are big. I don't these books are uncomfortable. What else was I going to be talking about today? I had another story, a story that I wanted to discuss with y'all, but I can't find it. I had a story that I wanted to discuss, but I can't find it. And I don't remember it. I'm sorry, y'all. I really I don't remember, and I can't find it. I closed all my windows. Um, I'm very I'm very uncomfortable. I'm very uncomfortable now. All I can think of is I need a chair that goes higher. I have one here, but I wasn't. I got in here a little late. I was watching the hearings upstairs, and then I came downstairs to the office and turned it on, and I was doing all kind of stuff. So, um, but I have a chair that sits higher than it. This is a really small chair. It's a it's a throne, but not that kind of a throne. It's for my drum set, because I have a drum set. I have keys. I have a drum set. I have a bass guitar. I have a regular electric guitar. All here. You look uncomfortable talking about her breasts. I'm uncomfortable. I am uncomfortable. Um, Books. You need a high chair. That's funny. Did you see the Facebook comment floating around that men ask women out on dates for sex? I think he said it like that. I did see the comment floating around. And again, I'm a supporter of I'm sorry, I gotta move the books, y'all. I gotta move the books. It's uncomfortable. Don't pay attention to the top of my head. All right. Sorry, I feel I'm sitting really low now, but at least I'm more comfortable. Tomorrow I'll be at that same height, but it'll be in a chair and everything will be good. I did see the comment. I would imagine that there's some context needed with that comment. For those of you who don't know, Kevin Samuels, he's a guy and he tries to help women. This is the way I describe him. He's a man who tries to help women set reasonable expectations. That's almost his entire goal. He's a man and he tries to help women set reasonable expectations. And there's a comment floating around that he says something along the lines of, I don't remember it verbatim. If a man asks you out, he wants to have sex, and if you don't want to have sex with that man, you shouldn't go out with him. Somewhere along those lines. That's what he's asking you out because he wants to have sex. And if you don't want to have sex with that man, you shouldn't go out with him. And again, there has to be some context. You have to context around what was happening. That I'm certain that wasn't just a blanket statement out of nowhere as a general rule for every man in every situation. Even though people try to paint the stuff that he says that way. TC said Kevin can't help us with, he might not be able to help you. And again, that might be because you're reasonable. Do you listen to, here's my question for those of you who hate Kevin Samuels, those ladies out here who hate Kevin Samuels, and those men. Do you listen and really pay attention to the people that he's talking to and what it is that they're asking for or expecting out of a relationship or what they're looking for in a man? Have you ever really listened? Forget about what Kevin is saying. Pay no attention to what it is that Kevin is saying. Pay attention to the women who are calling him and what they're saying and how unreasonable their requests, their desires are. And he let me see. Rodney said he didn't say it like that. I've watched plenty of his stuff, and I know that doesn't just sound like something he would say out of nowhere. Now, I could see under a specific set of circumstances where he might say that, where there might be, and this is just off the top of my head, because of course I had no intention on talking about this. Jerika brought this up. Of course, there might be a situation where he's talking to some woman who goes out on dates with all of these guys and can't understand why eventually they all want to have sex. She just wants them to keep spending their money on her because she probably wants a man that makes $700,000 a year and no less. And she wants him to shower her with gifts and all of that kind of nonsense. But she doesn't want to do anything in return. And the relationships never work out because eventually they all want some sex, and I'm trying to wait until marriage. I could see that being one of the women who calls his show or whatever, however they interact with him. I only want a man that makes $700,000 a year, and I'm saving myself till marriage, even though I already got 4 kids. But he making $700,000 a year. He should be taking me out, and he should be buying me stuff, and he should be this. Then why ain't the relationships working? Because eventually they all want some sex. They all want some sex. That's all. They all want sex. We've been dating for 6 months. Oh, now you want sex. Oh, we've been dating for a year, and now you want sex. And he had to tell her, yes, when they ask you out, they want sex. And if you don't want to have sex with them, don't go out with them. Context means everything. So that's what I'm saying. If, given the situation, if the conversation was moving in that ridiculous direction, and I know y'all thinking, hey, Emanuel, ain't nobody saying that, then you ain't listen to the women who call Kevin Samuels talking about they looking for a high value man. Because that's the kind of nonsense that they say. And when he goes to asking them, and yeah, they got 4 kids, and you know, they don't make no money, and they work at McDonald's. I'm not against people working at McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's. But they work at McDonald's, they not bringing anything to the table, and all of that kind of stuff. But they dating these high value men. He's spending all that money, and he's supposed to because he make all that money, and I'm worth it, and I'm a boss, and I'm a this, and I'm a that. But then why ain't the relationships working? Because they always want to have sex eventually, and I'm saving myself till marriage. But you want him to take care of your 4 kids before marriage. You want him to buy you everything in the world before marriage. You want him to treat you like a queen before marriage. What are you doing for him? Well, he get my company. He don't need your company. He don't need your company like that. He wants something more from you. And you saying that the relationships aren't working out. You don't have a problem finding these high value men. You don't have a problem getting them to date you. But you saying that these relationships ain't working out. What happens to make them not work? Well, they always want to have sex. Now, in that context, does that quote seem so bad? Does that quote seem so bad? Given, you know, potentially, and I don't know, I'm just guessing, given potentially that context, does the quote seem so bad? So, you know, why are people gonna hate on Kevin Samuels? But I think the people, in particular, the women who hate on Kevin Samuels, either they don't pay much attention, they just watch little snippets. But you got to watch like whole shows and whole conversations. And then you realize that what he's saying is he's trying to get women to have reasonable expectations. Lewis says there's absolutely nothing wrong with a woman asking a man out on a date for sex. This is actually a good thing. Okay, you might have misunderstood everything that was said. You might have misunderstood everything. E-Man, look up Jason Black. Way better than Kitten Hills, aka Kevin Samuels. Jason Black. I want to say I've heard of him. Wait a minute. No, maybe I haven't. That's not the same guy who got caught cheating on his wife, right? Because that's a different dude, right? The women and the men he's talking about are one and the same. All right. Women who hate on Kevin feel like he's messing the money up. And actually, what all he's doing, for the most part, all he's doing, who said it was a bad thing what Kevin Samuels said? Jerica says that's a different dude. Okay. And saving her sex before marriage, she's delusional. I don't know that that's delusional, but you know, it can happen. It can happen. It's not a bad thing. I don't know that it's delusional. There's nothing wrong with a woman saving herself sexually for marriage. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. As a society, we have totally flipped that one upside down. There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm not going to have sex until I get married. Nothing wrong with that. And anybody who thinks that that is, who said delusional? Jackie Jones said saving her sex before marriage, she's delusional. Jackie Jones said that. You can't be upset with your fiance for cheating if you're saving yourself for marriage. That's just stupid. And y'all know me. I don't like to say people, because I'm not saying that you're stupid, Lewis. I'm saying that what you said is stupid. That's it. That's what I'm saying. Not that you're stupid, but what you said is stupid. Yes, celibacy before marriage is a no-go. Got a test drive before I sign papers. Oh my God. Oh. See that? Look, maybe I'm old-fashioned. But I don't see a problem with saving yourself for marriage. When you said it sounds as if you didn't believe it could happen because she already has 4 kids. Maybe she had a change in mindset. No, my issue isn't that she had 4 kids in this fictitious scenario, which is kind of loosely based on some other scenarios that I've heard on his show. It's not that she has 4 kids and therefore she has to have sex before marriage. It was that she has 4 kids that she wants him to take care of and to financially and emotionally support before marriage, and that she wants him to emotionally and financially support her before marriage. So you want me to do everything that I would do in a marriage before the marriage, but you want to save what you would do until the marriage. So I'm not saying that it's impossible, difficult, or bad, even if you got 4, 5, 6 kids, to say, no, not until marriage. But I'm saying you can't, well, you can, but it's not reasonable or fair to say to one person, I want you to do everything, because I need you to show me that you can do this before I decide to marry you. So I need you to do everything that you would do, everything that I expect Whatever my expectation of you is in marriage, I need you to show me before marriage. And me to say, okay, that's reasonable. I will audition for you. And then me say, and then I want you to do everything that you would do in a marriage. And you say, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. That's what I'm saying is not reasonable. That's what I'm saying is not reasonable. So I'm not saying the 4-kid thing. I don't have a problem with that. Jackie Jones, are you a woman saying this? Jackie Jones was the one that was saying the thing. But yeah, no. I just some of the things that said with regard to this, I like the idea of waiting until marriage. Ladies, I like that idea. All I'm saying is that be reasonable and be fair. Men as well. Be reasonable and be fair. We live in a society where we've decided that waiting for marriage is either not going to happen, or like Nat said, I got to test drive it or whatever before I sign the papers. But when you really think about it, do you think, depending on, of course, this all depends on your belief system. I'm going based on my belief system. Do you believe that's the way God set it up? Do you really believe that's the way God set it up? Just, do you believe that he's happy with that? Now, if you're one of those people who you're like, I'm not one of those people. I'm not a religious person. I don't believe God, or I don't believe God cares about it in that way. Then okay. But I mean, even just as a society, it does sadden me a little bit that we've decided that waiting until marriage is a bad thing. Because I wouldn't even say not waiting until marriage is, place a judgment on it like that's bad. But we've decided just the opposite, that waiting until marriage is bad. Like it's legit not good or reasonable. Brent said, God allowed King Solomon to have 300 wives and 700 concubines. He allowed it, yes, just like he would allow you to have sex before marriage. Does that mean that's what he wants you to do? I don't mean that's what he wants you to do. It used to be arranged marriages where the dads would give a cow in exchange for marriage. Okay, what they got to do with what I'm saying? What they got to do with what I'm saying? Hold on, what did Lewis say to people saying that he's a genius? Well, last thing Lewis said was, thank you for saying I'm not stupid. You are the first person I've ever heard say that to me ever. I'm not sure. Jackie says, what if he has a small penis? She's going to be disappointed. Okay, I don't know. Maybe ask. I mean, you can find stuff out without actually having sexual relations. You could actually have conversations about stuff, what it is that you like, how it is that you like things. And I know this sounds crazy, to actually just have a conversation with someone that you're potentially going to be with, to talk to them about what you like and how you like. Because look, what, it's 105 or so people, 105 people at this very moment. Ding, 105 people watching. My guess is 105 of y'all ain't virgins. So if you are in the arena looking for a relationship and you're concerned that maybe you want to be with a partner, but you want to make sure that that partner and you are sexually compatible, have the conversation. You done did it. You probably got some kids, but at the very least, you ain't no virgin. 105 of y'all watching right now, y'all ain't virgins. I don't have a single virgin watching this show right now. So you know what you like, or have an idea of what you like or don't like. So ask. Ask. So before you get married, you're going to ask what that do? Yes. Yes, you're going to have you're going to be an adult and you're going to have a conversation. And you're going to say, look, we thinking about, or at least I'm thinking about being like serious with you or getting married. But sex is really important to me as a part of a marriage. For real, you can have this conversation with her or him. Sex is really important to me in a marriage. And good sex is going to be important to me. And I'm not going to be able to be happy in a marriage if the sex ain't good. So let's talk about sex. Let's talk about what I like. Let's talk about what you like, what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do. Let's talk about it. I like this. I don't want to be too graphic, even though I ain't got no virgins still. Let's talk about this. I like this. Do you like that? I like to have this done to me. Do you like to do that to people? I like to do this to my partner. Do you like to have that done to you? How important is size? I am this big. Is that too big for you? Is that too small for you? Look, do you have issues, with moisture? You know what I'm saying? Do you have issues in that area? Do you have issues with sexual arousal? You can ask these questions. You can have this conversation without actually having sex. I'm telling you, you can. So y'all mean to tell me y'all out here giving it up or getting it in with everybody to test the waters? How many of y'all have at least 4 children, all with a different mate? Yes, you need to talk about what you like sexually and ask, do they have ED? There is nothing wrong with asking that question. Have you had any issues getting aroused? Like, for real, you can ask. And I would say if they're uncomfortable talking about it, that means y'all need to really be doing some thinking. If it's that, if it's that important to you. I'm just being honest. I'm just telling y'all this stuff just because it was brought up and because I didn't remember what it was that I wanted to talk about. And I'm afraid to open up any windows because, the quality of the broadcast was not amazing. So, do you play well with others? See, I know, that's, you're joking, but look, if you into extracurricular activities or inviting people in, share that. Like, for real, be honest. Be honest about what you are and who you are And there's nothing wrong with that. Oh no. Please, I'm sure he meant people can lie in those conversations. Well, people can pretend to like stuff that they don't like. And then, because my guess is the idea that you're expressing, Don, because here's what I'm saying. I'm saying you don't have to have sex with somebody to come to the determination of whether or not you're sexually compatible. And if you're saying, okay, but if I ask these questions, they could lie. Well, what would they be lying about? What would they be lying about, Don? Do I like this? Well, yeah, I like doing that. Okay, great. Okay, so if you have sex with them and they honestly don't like doing that, but you believe that they like doing that and they know that that's what you want, you know they could do it. And then once y'all get married, they could say, you know, I really don't like that. I only did it because. So what's the difference? I guess what the difference would be you got it done at least a few times. But all right, yeah, that's too graphic. Mary says, I ask men if they're taking medication for HBP, high blood pressure, HIV, type 2 diabetes, and mental health. I am a counselor and I ask these questions all day, every day. Well, you're asking them as a counselor. I'm talking about relationship wise, when you're anticipating the potential of getting into a relationship with somebody. People be lying though. Brian says sexual compatibility can't be determined just in conversation, in my experience. I'm all about talking about it. People can also big lie. You can rule out certain people or weed them out, but there's a certain physical, psychological things that can only be the way that this thing works, that can only be settled in practice. Each individual has to decide if they want to try first. I don't know that I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that. You can because a lot of it, just from my perspective, a lot of it is an energy thing. It's an energy thing. Like you get to know a person's energy. You talk about things, you know, and you can have a really good idea. Now, sure, there's an off chance that things that, you know, hopefully y'all can work that out. There's an off chance that things might not. But if everybody's being honest about everything, if people are being honest about things, you can have a decent idea of whether or not there's some level of compatibility. You can have a decent idea. If you're uncomfortable talking about sex with someone you're dating at 40 plus, my dear, you may be the issue. Questions like, are you a fan of R. Kelly? It's sufficient. I don't, whatever. How about, do I or can I love this person? Well, and I'll tell you this, Janice, I'm functioning under the premise that you've come to the conclusion, because the conversation was about waiting, saving yourself for marriage. So I'm working under the premise that you've come to the conclusion that you can and maybe do love this person and you're thinking marriage. Even though that's not necessarily fair, because some people don't get married for love. That's just the truth. But I'm functioning under the premise that at the very least, there's a very, very strong like. There's a very, very strong like and compatibility emotionally and mentally, lifestyle wise. Y'all done kicked it enough. Like you digging her energy or you digging his energy. Y'all go out, y'all have a good time together, y'all have conversations, y'all laugh, y'all joke, y'all make each other think, y'all make each other better, y'all whatever it is that you're looking for in a relationship. Like, she could really cook, you know what I'm saying? And that's what you want. Like, dang, she can cook. My mama could cook. She wear that apron. I'm picking with Pharaoh a little bit, even though he's not watching, because that was one of the things he said he looked for. But yeah, whatever it is that you're looking for, and you're like, the missing component is physical, sexual compatibility, because we haven't done that. So that's the premise that I'm functioning under. But I would say that's a pretty good question to ask, financially as well. Financially. E-Man, you tripping. How will a woman know he's slacking, or a man know she got that, without actually testing the product? Who actually being honest about those things, really? Honest people. Honest people. But okay, so help me understand this. What do y'all think? It's not been my experience, and so maybe my experience is different than y'all. What are people lying to y'all about? See, y'all say people lie, but I'm questioning if y'all actually asking the questions. Mary says, I ask men who I date those questions, and that's reasonable. And that's reasonable. Emanuel Livingston is correct. Questions like, do you like getting your, oh my God. Oh my goodness. This, you don't have to be so graphic. Come on, bro. Some just don't ascribe to traditional models, relative relationships, and sex, but safe sex is a must. Says who? If you don't subscribe to the traditional models, you know how many people out here ain't doing safe sex. So you can't say, I'm not with all that traditional stuff, but if you're not having safe sex, you're wrong. No, if ain't no rules, ain't no rules. If ain't no rules, it ain't no rules. Safe sex included. And there are a whole lot of people running around, and it ain't no rules. If it ain't no rules, it ain't no rules. Cedric says, what did I just walk into? This started as a conversation about a comment by Kevin Samuels. And, he said apparently to a woman, if a man asks you out, he wants to have sex. And if you don't want to have sex with that man, don't go out with him. And I said there had to be some context to that comment. And then somehow that took us down the path of, because in my hypothetical scenario where I gave context to where that comment does not seem in any way, shape, or form unreasonable, the woman was having the man do all of the marital duties except for sex. She was waiting until marriage. And, I began to question, because we have moved into a phase in society where saving yourself until marriage for a lot of people is unreasonable. We have moved into that as a phase in society. Jack says, I'll be getting offered the poon before them questions get brought up. That's not somebody then who wants to save themselves until marriage. Emmanuel, we don't have to take our clothes off to have a good time looking ass. You don't. You don't. People lie about signatures. Well, come on. I think if you really like, who's lying about this stuff? That's what who's lying about this stuff? What kind of logic is that? What kind of logic is what? What kind of logic is if you don't believe in rules, you can't say I don't believe in rules, but this rule. No, if you don't believe in the societal rules, even though societal rules have changed, if you don't believe in the societal rules, then you can't tell me I don't believe in the societal rules except for I believe in this rule. Normal has become abnormal, as you said before. The sex talk afternoon experiment or the sex afternoon experiment. Hey, that's what you walked into. I'm not, look, I'm just talking talking about saving yourself until marriage and having conversations with even if you're not going to save yourself to marriage. How do it hurt to have a conversation about expectations before things happen? I know it's fun, it's spontaneous, and all of that kind of stuff, but come on. When's the last time you were tested for STDs? Can you email that test to me ASAP? Here's my STD clean test. Okay. I'm assume you saying that that's a question that you would ask someone. You're not necessarily saying, "Hey, Lewis, send me your test and here is my test." I'm assuming that that's what's happening. What are people lying about? What are people lying about? Janice says, after trying numerous times to listen to Kevin Samuels, my final conclusion is he's full of a whole lot of why? Why? How do you come to that conclusion? And look, I'm not like, I understand people view things differently than I view them. All right. And so there's some people who like the guy, some people who don't like the guy. I know there's a lot of people, some of it is stylistic, but on substance, what makes him full of S? What makes him full of S? That's what I would ask. Jerica says, this can't be real. Y'all grown A people cannot genuinely believe that having premarital sex is something that should be encouraged. If so, then you can't be upset about the number of children born out of wedlock. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's how it's people believe that they should be able to run around and have as much sex as they want. But they don't believe that there should be any consequences for that behavior or for that belief. But to your point, when you're running around promoting a life of promiscuity, because that's what you're promoting. That's what a lot of y'all, now 89 of y'all are promoting. So if you're running around promoting a life of promiscuity, of course, we know young people, they pick up on stuff. So they've adopted a life of promiscuity. And then we looking at them about all these young people having babies and, oh, she got 6 kids and, oh, he got 10 kids and so on and so forth. But you're promoting that lifestyle. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm promoting that lifestyle, but I don't like the consequences of that lifestyle. I like the lifestyle, but boy, I wish we didn't have the consequences of the lifestyle. To Jerica's point, you can't necessarily have both. You can't say the lifestyle is good, but the consequences are bad, because one is or contributes to the other. So what you're promoting contributes to what you don't like. So you have to consider, is this good? Is this good? Well, it feels good. But is it good? Is it good? And I don't know. My answer would be no. And look, don't get me wrong. I had premarital sex. I wish I hadn't. I do. I know I'm laughing because it sounds ridiculous to say something like that. But I wish I hadn't. But I'm not promoting it as a lifestyle. Nat says, y'all got to be kidding, judging other people's sex habits. We can judge alcohol, donuts, and rib consumption as well. Birth rates are down in America, and so are marriages. Hold on. It looks like there's more. See, I can't see all of it when I'm... Oh, no, there was not more. Okay, you say birth rates are down and so are marriages. How about single parent households? How far down is that? Because birth rates can be down and marriages can be down. But what about them single parents? What about people having babies and one parent is not around to help? Is that down? And if you don't see that, Nat, if you don't see that as a problem, then you don't see that as a problem. And that's fine. You got a right to think it's okay to have all of these babies born out of wedlock and have all of these single parents. But I think, and well, I'm gonna say at least anecdotally, we have to accept all of the stories that we hear about all of these young men having all of these emotional issues because they lack a father and or father figure in their lives, which is a part of the issue that we deal with, or at least the people that I talk to, the people at the Fatherhood Project. And there's another one who I was supposed to get on the show, but I ended up being lazy and not getting him on, and I apologize for that. But there are a number of people who are out here working to have fathers in the lives of, in particular, their sons, because their sons is out on the streets acting wild, and some of them is just acting out because they never had a father in their lives, as well as girls doing the same thing, acting out because they never had a father in their lives. Didn't have them in their lives many times because this was some premarital sex that happened, and there was some consequences to that premarital sex. Brian says, nah, this society doesn't promote sex education and safe sex. Let me deal with that. You can't, look, if there are these societal rules and norms, and because this make sense to me. I could be off base, but all right. The societal rule and or norm is don't have sex until you get married, right? That's the rule/norm. You say, F that rule. F that rule. I'm not following that rule. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. Okay. Well, the societal norm and rule is have safe sex. If you saying F this rule, what's to stop you from saying F this rule? And if you telling them, this rule ain't S, F it, throw it out, but follow this one, they gonna be like, wait a minute, a rule is a rule. And if I ain't got to follow that one, why do I have to follow that one? That's just the logical thinking, or I guess the illogical thinking in particular of young people. Young people, for the most part, want to flaunt the rules anyway. So when you're giving them the okay to flaunt this set of rules, what make you think that you can convince them to follow this set of rules? Wait until you get married to have no, F that. Just do it. Do it as much as you want, but just be safe. F that. That's the mind of a young person. And y'all acting like y'all don't know this. But anyway, he says this society doesn't promote sex education and safe sex. Making it taboo to discuss in school contributes to unplanned pregnancies. The accessibility of birth control and reproductive services contributes to. And the idea that it's okay for everybody to do it whenever they feel like it. That also contributes to unplanned pregnancies. Come on, don't act like y'all don't know this. If you're not having sex, there's a good chance you're not going to get pregnant. But if you're having a whole lot of sex, there's a higher chance of you getting pregnant. Can we all agree with that? A higher chance, not as a guarantee, but no sex reduces your chances of getting pregnant. A lot of sex increases your chances of getting pregnant. Can we agree with that? So y'all don't like the unplanned pregnancies, but y'all want to increase the amount of sex. That's not reasonable to me. That's not reasonable to me. In all seriousness, just be careful who you sleep with. Jason says it's a societal norm that's tied to a religion and exploitative of women, or exploitation of women. What's to stop us is that we should choose what we want society to look like and establish societal norms that match a new level of human liberation, which we are at the cusp of because of, oh, I got to see where I picked up. The yoke of that oppression. Brian, you know, if you are encouraging young people, or really any people, to have sex, if you're saying, forget all of those societal norms that were based in religion and that exploited women, so now you're specifically saying to women, those norms exploited you, and now you are liberated. You own your sexuality. Go out, have sex. How do you say that and then say, but use protection, be safe? Again, we talking reasonable. Young people, Brian, you know young people ain't doing that. You know they ain't gonna do it. But you encouraging them to do it, knowing that they're not gonna do the second part. Tied to religion or not, you know they not gonna do the second part. You tell a gang of young people that it's okay to have sex, and you give them condoms. You can give them a PhD in sexology and everything associated with it, and they can understand back and forth all of the consequences of disease and pregnancy, and you give them free reign and access to all of the protection to keep them from getting pregnant and diseases and everything else. You know a whole lot of them ain't gonna use it, even if it's right there at their disposal. And if you say you don't know that, I would say you're lying. I would say you're lying. And so now if you realize that they know it, or that you know it, and that's the way that young people in particular, but even some older people, a lot of older people are gonna react, and you're still promoting it, then yeah, like Jerica said, you can't complain about fathers not being in the lives of their children, because you promoted that irresponsibility that got them there. You can't complain about single parents because you promoted the irresponsibility that got them there. You promoted it. You said it was good because it's anti-religious, and it's a new awakening and liberation. You promoted it as good. So you got to accept the consequences as good. You got to. You got a point, but I would not advise my son to marry a woman he has not had sex with. Oh my goodness. I agree, Emanuel. It's about the quality of a relationship as opposed to quantity. I enjoy safety over reckless consequences of regrets and uncertainties about relationships. Janice says, safe sex should be encouraged along with or right after abstinence. Pregnancy is not the worst thing that can happen to someone. Where did we go wrong? I've always been of the mind. How do I say it? Because it always sounds weird when I say it, even though it makes perfect sense to me. If you're promoting abstinence, you promote abstinence. You can teach about protection, but you don't promote protection because you're promoting abstinence. It's like saying, okay, here, get on this motorcycle. Now, drive 55. But if you decide to drive 90, here is a helmet. Wear it. Huh? Wait a minute. You're giving me all the tools to drive 90, but you don't want me to drive 90? Then why are you giving me the tools to drive? When you give me the helmet, again, I know that's horrible because you should wear a helmet all the time, but follow me in principle. When you give me the helmet and say, this is for 90 miles an hour, here, take it, you're telling me, go 90 miles an hour. When you say, don't do it, all right, don't do it. I hear you, Pops. But if you decide to do it, here's some condoms. Okay. I think he want me to do it. That's what you're saying to me. And that's why I say you teach about protection. And this is the way I believe that this can be accomplished. This is the way I believe that this can be accomplished. Don't do it. Son, don't do it. Now, I know some of your friends is out here doing it. So here's some information that you can pass on to them. They need to be using protection because they gonna find themselves with diseases, and they gonna find themselves with babies, and they gonna this and they gonna that. So they need to learn this stuff. So you need to learn it so you can teach it to them. But don't do it. So that way, I'm not saying don't do it, but if you choose to do it, here are some condoms. Because as soon as I say, here are some condoms, in my mind, the message that a young person gets is, he want me to do it. I know it's weird. I know it is, but women teach your sons how to, oh my God. That's just the way I see it, though. Now, I agree. You do. You have to educate them. But I think you have to be, like I said, I'm going to teach you this stuff. so you can teach it to your friends. And then that way you putting the information in their heads. So now they know this stuff. They know it. You make them regurgitate it to me. Tell me what you gonna tell your friends. What about if your friends say he gonna? What if your friend decide he gonna do this? What if your someone so decide they gonna do this? And now you okay? I know you know it. But my rule, my guidance, my hope for you is abstinence. Period. I didn't say it was good. I said it's okay. Let me deal with that in a minute. I'll finish reading your comment. Big assumption on your part that people can't change social behavior. It is totally possible. I respect your stance, but it assumes the worst of people. I think we are capable of rising to so much more. Brian, you see the numbers? Are there people who are capable? I really believe in some instances, this being one of them, you don't teach to the highest level. Because when you teach to the highest level, you leave behind all of the people that can't follow. So when you say, it's possible for us to do this, and it's possible for us to do that, it is possible. And there are some who will do it. There are some who will do it. But then what about that huge swath of those who get, and if you're saying, it's okay to do it. It's okay to have sex outside of marriage. It's okay. You're taking a huge swath of people, holding them to the standard that you know that there's only a certain amount of people who will attain, who will even attempt to attain what it is that you aspire to. But you're trying to tell everybody by that same standard, if that makes any sense. Because as I was saying it, it didn't make sense. But as I'm thinking it, it makes perfect sense. I get what you're saying. Even though I didn't say it was good, I said it was okay. Come on, that's as gray an area as you can get. That's as gray an area as you can get. You put that in a sentence with anything else. It's not good for you to shoot that dude, but it's okay. It's not good for you to sell those drugs, but it's okay. It's not good for you to rape that woman, but it's okay. It's not good for you to rob that bank, but it's okay. Come on now. If it's okay to most people, that translates to it's good. And there are certain things you just have to say, don't do. Not it's okay if you choose to do. Janice said pregnancy is not the worst thing that can happen to a couple. All right. Just because you can have children does not mean you should. I agree, but educating one does not mean that they will automatically do it. True. And I agree with that. But the same way as saying be celibate or abstain, but here's some condoms. That don't necessarily mean that they're going to go out and have sex. And it don't necessarily mean that if they choose to go out and have sex, they're going to use the condoms that you just gave them. But at least in my mind, saying abstain, but here's some condoms, you're really negating the abstain part. But no, I agree. Educating them does not mean that they will do it. But at least you arm them with that information and you still stick by abstain. Now, there's no guarantee they're gonna abstain, just like there's no guarantee that they're gonna have safe sex because they have that information. So I agree. I agree with you. Brian says you don't promote either. You present the information. Your assumption is that a fast speed you deem unsafe is equivalent to sex. A more accurate example is your body does these things and it will really press you to do it. When and if you do, okay, I got to hide you now so I can read the rest of it. Here's how you do it safely. Fear teaching is whack. Sex isn't bad. It's an act, and you were. It's an act. Where am I? And you were told not to do it and did it anyway. So what are we talking about? Well, you are kind of promoting it. You are kind of promoting it, in my opinion. When you say, here's some condoms, you're promoting it. When you say, ain't nothing wrong with premarital sex, you're promoting it. In my opinion, that is promotion. That is promotion. Especially because you know, like you said, your body gonna say do it. Your body is gonna say do it. And if you say there's nothing wrong with doing it, you're promoting it. Now, if there was, if our bodies didn't crave it and you said it's okay, then I would say maybe you're not promoting it. But because because you just said it, that your body, in particular as a young person, but even now, 51 years old, and your body gonna crave it because you know that when you say it's okay, you are promoting it. In my opinion. My son sold condoms in college, got his hustle on. When was this? In 1960s? Because who's buying condoms in college? You can get them free all over the place. Must have been, what college did he go to, Sean? It had to be a stupid college. It just, because as a college student, and I wasn't getting none in college, I had a pocket full of condoms all the time because somebody was always sticking condoms in our hands. It's not safe sex. It's not safe sex. Okay, I ain't getting none. Oh, okay, I ain't getting none. But so where did he go to college that he was conning people into buying what they could get for free? And my guess is he's an amazing salesman right now. Marv Lund says, you sound stupid. All right. Everyone is not married material. Doesn't mean they have to miss out on that one feeling. If you say so. I don't know. I would say everybody doesn't desire to marry, but anybody can be marriage material. Sex is neither good or bad. It simply is. You're attaching morals to it. That part I disagree with. I'm attaching morals to premarital sex. Yeah, I am. As I believe we should. I believe we should. And the reason I believe we should is because of a lot of the consequences that we see. So that's why I believe we have to attach something to it. Because again, the act itself is neither good or bad. But the situations with which we potentially do it and then what comes out of it can be good or bad. So the act is not good or bad. but when, where, how, time, place, manner, all of that kind of stuff, and consequences, I think, make it good or bad. I really believe that. Just like, again, I know y'all will say horrible analogy. Holding a gun is neither good or bad. Neither good or bad. But what you gonna do with it? And then what are gonna be the consequences of those actions? And that's what determines whether or not it ends up being good or bad. But if I'm just promoting that there is nothing wrong with taking a gun and just firing it whenever and wherever you feel like it, I'm ignoring the consequences of that action. So I have to say, there's a time when it's bad. So if we just saying sex ain't good or bad, we ignore some consequences that come with it. Bad analogy, I know. Y'all hate my analogies, but they make sense to me. Let's see. Fear teaching was the norm in my household. I mean, what's the point of even going to church or reading the Bible if everything is okay? Sarcasm, but real talk. Yeah. Brent says his mother always gave him an option. You can do that if you want to. I mean, I believe that's with anything. I mean, just as humans, you can do it if you want to. But there are gonna be some consequences, good, bad, or whatever. But there are gonna be some consequences. You know, they say for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. If you choose to do something, there's gonna be some reaction. You're not giving condoms, you're merely giving them sex education, how the body functions and what happens under certain circumstances. And no, that I agree with, Janice. That I agree. But normally when people talk about that, which is what I was against, what you're saying is kind of what I'm saying. Abstain, but I'm going to give you all of this information. I'm not, other people say abstain, but if you choose to do it, here is the best way to do it. That, I think, negates the first message. So I believe you give them the education, but not necessarily the tools. Because again, if you tell me, I'm going to teach you how to build a house, I'm going to teach you how to build a stool, and I'm going to give you all the tools to build the stool. But whatever you do, don't build that stool. Then why did you give me these tools? Wood? You gave me wood. Y'all know what I mean. I didn't mean wood in that way. You gave me all the materials to build the stool and then said, but don't build it. Come on, that don't make sense to me. Right, Sucker University. It was selling condos at college. Hold on. The high school kids who were scared to go to the local CVS Walgreens went to college here in Georgia, Highlands Community College. Oh boy. Okay. What year was this, Sean? I just want to know what year this was, because they've been giving out free condoms for a long time. You can't compare Adidas to Buddies. Yeah, they both shoes. They both had that half moon. They actually both had, I believe, 3 stripes. But you can't compare those. You can't. You really can't. Y'all funny. Sex education teaches you how your body functions. And again, I'm with sex education. I'm not against sex education. Not at all. Not at all. I'm against telling people. Now, if you're not a person who teaches abstinence, then you do what you do. But if you're a person who preaches abstinence, say to your children, because I really did. I knew some parents who said, well, I told my kids, don't have sex, abstain from sex, don't do it, wait till you're married. And then I said, but if you choose to do it, it's a bowl of condoms in there on the counter over there in the corner. So if you choose to do it, just make sure you take some of them condoms. They'll always be there for you if you ever need them. I'm like, then you just told them, go do it. You told them to go do it. So you think brothers and sisters should be out here in their 20s and 30s getting scrapes? Yeah. Yeah. Build up anticipation. Sure, if that's what they choose to do. But I don't see a problem with waiting until marriage. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right, y'all. It's 3:00. I got to get ready to get out of here. I'll be back tomorrow, and I will actually have something to talk about tomorrow. I'll have something to actually talk about tomorrow. Janice says she believes the children who are taught sexual education, how their body functions, are less likely to have premarital sex. Oh, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Just imagine if DJ Key was your sex ed teacher. First, you take your finger. Oh, I'm so glad he didn't get a chance to finish that. But yes, I appreciate y'all hanging with me. I appreciate it. Getting ready to get out of here. And I guess I'll talk to y'all next time. Until next time, I'm out, y'all. Peace.